Hi, everyone. It's Nikolai here from the Financial Commission. I'm glad to be joining you once again for our monthly complaints digest. Today, we're going to be talking about our monthly complaint statistics for September as compared to August and some of our previous months. If you'd like to follow along, you can click on the link that's below in the description to the video to the full report that we just published actually earlier today with our September numbers. So diving right into it, some of you may know, I look at numbers month over month. So last month in September, we had 94 new complaints registered with the Financial Commission. And at the same time, during the month of September, we were able to successfully resolve 101 complaints. Now, with the new complaints submitted, we did see another slight decrease in the number of new complaints as compared to August. So in August, we had 109 complaints. So we had a drop of about 13% in new complaints. And in terms of the complaints that we successfully resolved during the month, that number actually went up by 16%. Looking at our total amount sought from all brokers, so the amount of money that traders um, are asking in their disputes, that number was $632,951. So again, quite a significant figure in September. As compared to August, in August we had 766 or almost $767,000 in total amount sought. So we did see a bit of a decrease there. One of the most important things to mention for the September figures is the amount of money that we awarded to traders. So that's the total amount that's prescribed in all the successful resolutions for all complaints in September. Now, that number was 63,317, which actually represents a 132% increase from the previous month, from August, when the total amount of money that the Financial Commission awarded to traders was $27,249. So we do see this rather drastic jump month over month. And again, it could be related to financial or trading related complaints that we received in previous periods. So it could have been a complaint that was received in August that was actually successfully completed and closed in September, and essentially it counts for the September months. Now, with respect to the amount of money that traders asked for in total, which I said was 632,000, we paid out around 63,000. So that accounts for about 10% of all monies that were requested by traders for the month of September. Notably, last month, if you joined me last month or read our digest, you saw that we set a new record in terms of average complaint resolution times. And in August, that number was 4.6 days, which was really, I would say, almost lightning quick in our world in terms of independent or self-regulatory dispute resolutions are concerned. In September, we did have an increase in the average dispute resolution time. So our total for September was 8.9 days. Quite a big difference. But at the same time, as I mentioned in my previous video from last month and in our digest conclusions, we had quite a lot of complaints recently, which were complicated, both from a trading perspective in terms of what happened to a customer's orders or trades during the time that they were trading on the markets, as well as financial matters with respect to withdrawing funds and things like that. And so it did take us quite a lot longer recently to resolve some of these complaints, and hence, you could see that in the average dispute resolution time numbers. That's not to say, though, that 8 days or 9 days, as compared to other dispute resolution bodies around the world, it's not to say that that's not a very quick process, whereas in other organizations it could take weeks or sometimes months, especially considering right now with all the COVID-19 or coronavirus, as we say, disruptions and things like that that are still going on around the world. In September, if we look at the complaints categories, so trading complaints, financial complaints, and non-trading complaints, which is the way that we split them up in terms of topics. We see that financial related complaints continue to dominate. About 54% of all complaints were financial related, and about 32% were related to trading matters in September. One interesting thing to note in terms of the value of complaints that we received in September, the biggest rise in the share of all complaints is attributed to complaints that were valued at $10,000 or more, which I think is quite significant. Receiving complaints that are of a higher value, it forces us to basically focus a little bit more on those complaints. Make sure that our dispute resolution committee has all the information that it needs to analyze the complaint and come to an opinion and come to a resolution on the matter. So a 42% jump in the amount of in the share that complaints of $10,000 or more had on the overall complaints value in September as compared to August. At the same time, the lowest category of complaint values, $0 to $100, continue to dominate the categories, as we receive also at the same time a large number of complaints that are attributed to a much smaller dollar amount that the traders or customers are requesting. If we take a look at the breakdown of how disputes were resolved in September, whether they were ruled against, whether they were ruled for a broker or for a client, we see that in September, about 51% of complaints were ruled in favor of the broker, and roughly 23% were ruled in favor of the customer. And about 25% or 26% was attributed to non-specified rulings. What that really means, like I mentioned in my previous videos, is that our dispute resolution committee comes to the determination that either there is no actual dispute between the two parties and hence there's nothing really to resolve, or in analyzing the information regarding the complaint, the committee determines that the customer did not understand something or misunderstood something with regards to their trading account or the policies that govern their trading account, and hence there is no actual formal complaint that could be made against their trading provider. If we take a look at the amount of complaints that were resolved for specifically member brokers, so companies that are members of the Financial Commission, in September, that number was 83 as compared to 81 in August. So a very, very slight uptick there. And if we take a look at the amount of funds that were actually requested by traders of brokers who are not members of the Financial Commission, so that is brokers that do not maintain membership with us, and hence the traders who are coming to us from those brokers, we cannot necessarily make a determination or a ruling in those matters because those brokers are not prescribed to our rules and guidelines. It's interesting to note that the amount of funds requested by such traders actually fell dramatically from August to September. So in August, we saw about $408,000 being requested by such traders, and in September, we saw that number fall all the way to 33,975. Now, this could actually be attributed to maybe better policing in a sense. If you follow along with our news, if you visit our website frequently, you know that we publish quite a lot of alerts and notifications from different international Forex and CFD broker regulators in the United States, the United Kingdom, Australia, Cyprus, and elsewhere with respect to companies that have been identified as possible scams or engaging in possible fraudulent activity, and just basically companies that do not maintain best business practices for their customers and hence could be a risk for traders and investors. We see that these kind of issues or these kind of problems um, have or have expanded over the years. And if you saw some of our news posts earlier in the year, we saw that certain regions, specifically Europe and Australia, were kind of plagued by a lot of this, let's say, deceitful or illegal activity, which led to the loss of lots of monies from investors and traders in these regions, and brought a lot of attention to this problem and to these matters. So we'd like to think that both international regulators and our self-regulatory organization is doing a good job in terms of informing the public about these types of risks. And hopefully, people are getting the message as we get the word out and are being a lot more careful with respect to the companies the companies that they choose to open an account with and trade with. Now, looking ahead to the autumn and winter months, if you watch my previous videos, we've talked a lot about market volatility this year because of everything that's been happening with COVID-19 and coronavirus. We've also spoken about the summer slowdown that's happened. So we've seen traders leave the markets because they're not finding the same opportunities as they were before in the spring months of the year, when global markets were just going crazy up and down with many different things going on. As we kind of get out of that summer slowdown, we have certain trading opportunities that are coming up, we think, globally, specifically the US election that's relatively close, less than a month away at this point. Considering everything that's been happening and all the news surrounding the U.S. election, there's definitely a lot of unanswered questions. There's a lot of anxiety on traders and investors' minds. And a recent survey that we actually looked at saw that the biggest concern for traders heading into the winter months is actually the U.S. election and not something like the coronavirus. So we believe that traders, if they're going to be trading in the next few months, they should certainly employ risk management techniques, be careful with the size of the positions that they're opening, and make sure that they understand all the terms and conditions with respect to their trading account at their brokerage, so that they don't run into issues in the future. Besides the U.S. election, obviously, looking at the news internationally in different regions of the world, we see that coronavirus, or COVID-19, however you want to call it, is making sort of a resurgence, making a comeback, which is obviously putting pressure on regional economies, individual countries' economies, and could present some trading opportunities or market volatility going forward as we approach the end of the year. And in that sense, what we expect is perhaps not a drastic, but a more measured and smooth uptick in new complaints filed with our organization. And we're taking steps to make sure that we have the operational capacity and the staff to continue to resolve complaints effectively and efficiently, independently and in an unbiased manner, so that both parties have an equal say, sort of, in the process. And if there are any COVID-related or coronavirus disruptions or restrictions that happen in the future months, that we maintain our operations and are able to continue doing business as normal. So with that, really quick short update this month from myself. Once again, if you'd like to read the full report, you can click on the link that's below in the video here. And I will see you next month in October, or in November, once our October numbers are released. And hope until then that you stay healthy, and good luck trading and things like that. See you soon.